Hi, I'm Alan, and I'm an alcoholic. I got 5 years sober now. So let me get these from my ears first. Because I was hearing feedback. I guess I'll start with my qualification. I'll try to keep this quick because I really don't like. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I don't like meetings like where everyone's just like talking about their alcoholism the whole time. But I definitely want to qualify myself so that you guys know that I'm one of you. My childhood was normal. I had everything I needed. Grew up middle class. So that really didn't lead to my alcoholism. I had friends. Like life was just pretty good growing up. There was no like real financial struggles. Um, but I can remember from an early age feeling like a sense of not belonging. I felt like that restlessness, irritable, and discontent from an early age because I felt like I just didn't fit in with people. I mean, I had everything that like a normal kid would have wanted. Like, I had good parents who loved me. I had friends. I played sports. On the outside, my life looked perfect, but on the inside, something was like something. I don't know. There was something wrong with me, and I didn't really know what exactly it was. So fast forward a little bit. I'm entering the summer of ninth grade. Like the last day before I start school. One of my friends, all my friends come over to my house to sleep over because like my parents like would host parties and we'd be like the cool house to hang out at. So all my friends came over, and one of my friends decided like we'll just break into your parents' liquor cabinet and like steal their booze. And I can remember that night perfectly. Well, about as perfect as you can for a blackout, but I can still remember that that I had that first drink and it took over. That restless, irritable, and discontent like went away. I felt like calm and at peace. I felt like for the first time in my life that this is how I should feel my whole life. I didn't feel like fearful. I didn't feel like resentful. Like all those like unspiritual like feelings just kind of evaporated. And that very first time, I kind of didn't have control either because I wanted this feeling and I couldn't control. I lost control of the ability to like control my drinking. Um, so yeah, as you can tell, that I felt that way the first time, and I knew from that day forward that I wanted to feel this way all the time. So I remember being like a mess. Like I blacked out, I threw up all over the place, and I'm guessing my internet's not that great. I'm in Mexico, but anyway, so what happened shortly after that is my friends kind of started getting tired of me drinking because I would get really drunk, I would black out, and I would just not be pleasant to hang out with. And I could they didn't say anything, but I could tell that they didn't want to like. They quit inviting me out, and I just started to lose contact with them. But sure enough, I still wanted to drink, and I didn't have the connection. It's like my parents eventually started like locking up the booze because they started noticing it missing. So I did what any good alcoholic does, as I made new friends that would help me get what I wanted. So I started hanging out with these new people, and I guess I used to be pretty good. I got good grades. I kind of behaved myself and didn't get in much trouble, but I started hanging out with new people that didn't really have much of a future or just didn't really care about it. So when that happened, I kind of just started taking after them. I started like getting arrested. I started getting suspended from school, and all the trouble started happening. And that's I can't remember. It was like second or third arrest. My parents like I was like 16 years old. My parents like didn't know what to do with me, so they decided to send me to rehab. This was the first time. I kind of wasn't ready at this time to get sober, but it planted the seed and it showed me where I needed to go. Eventually, later on, once I had enough pain, that I decided that I knew that it needed to get like better. So I stayed sober maybe like a couple months, not very long. I remember I pulled the marijuana maintenance thing at first because I thought that if I smoked weed, that wasn't my drug of choice. That it would keep me. So I thought I was being sober by smoking weed. I just bring up drugs just because it's a part of my story, and I feel like I just want to explain to people that like marijuana maintenance doesn't work. It ultimately led to me relapsing on my drug of choice, and it just wasn't good. And I feel like that's an important part of my story. So yeah, I thought I was sober, despite the fact I wasn't really doing any steps or anything or taking anything serious. I would come in late. I'd go to the back of the room. I wouldn't talk to anybody. Didn't really take any of this serious because I didn't think I had a problem. I thought I could just smoke weed and be fine. And sure enough, I relapsed to alcohol, and things kind of went downhill real quick after that. Um, at first in college, I did really good. I had like a 4.0. And as soon as I found booze, like my grades started sliding, and the problems started mounting up. I started like getting put on academic probation. I don't know. I eventually like got in a car accident, got a concussion, like, and just life wasn't very good. I got like locked up in the psych ward. The one incident, I got locked up in the psych ward. And I can remember getting to the psych ward and telling myself I wanted to quit drinking because I kind of like realized like I fucked up at this point. And I really, really wanted to get sober. But it talks about this in the book. Like I wanted to get sober. I made like a promise. And sure enough, the very first, within an hour of getting out of that psych ward, I ended up going to the bar and drinking. Like it didn't really stick. So a bunch of other stuff happened. I got like a DUI, and I ended up going to rehab again. It didn't really work the steps. I mean, I kind of did, but I kind of didn't go because I didn't go to rehab because my life was bad. I kind of just went because I was tired of like getting DUIs. I was tired of getting arrested, but really didn't have enough pain to like really do what I needed to do. So anyway, I'll fast forward. I got a new job. Life still sucked. I got into hard drugs. Like this pushed me into enough pain. Like I remember at the end, like I was in so much pain, and like I called up a rehab and I told him I was going. I signed up. I told him I was going. And then the very next day I told my work I was going. Like at that point in my life, I think this is where I worked this first step without like really knowing it. I went to work. I didn't even tell them that. Oh, I told them that after I signed up for rehab, that I went to rehab. I was like, yo, my life's like really out of control. I don't really care if you fire me. I just need to get to rehab because I need to do something to get well. So they were cool about it. They let me go to rehab. And so I went to rehab and I took it serious. I took notes. I listened to everything that everyone had to say. And they stressed the importance of working the steps, finding a home group, and my internet's a little shaky now. So I'll wait a second or two. All right. So I have a service position and all that jazz, all you're familiar with. And they also suggested I go to the recovery house. So this time around, I actually listened to everything that everyone told me. I went to the recovery. The very first day I was getting rehab, I went to a meeting. I raised my hand. I told people I was new, and I told people I was new. I was looking for a recovery house. And that day, I found a sponsor, I found a home group, and I found a service position. They nominated me to be. I can't remember what it was. It was years ago, but I had everything I needed in that very first day. All it took on my part was the willingness to take action, and my higher power provided everything I needed, everything that was necessary for me to get sober. I just had the willingness to like reach out and ask for the help, and that's pretty much been the consistency. I mean, been the story throughout my whole recovery. Is as long as I've had the willingness to do what I was told to do, like listen, ask people for help, reach out and follow what the advice that people told me. Things have kind of gone all right. So I got out. I had the sponsor, and I had the home group. I had the service position, and I fight through the steps. I got them done within like 6 months, and I guess life went pretty well. After that, I continued to live in recovery house because at this point in my life, I quit just making immediate like life-changing decisions all on my own, because I surrendered my life to my higher power at this point, and that involved like having a we and talking to people and discussing decisions. And I talked to a bunch of people that were in the same position. They're like, I went to recovery house, and based off of what everyone was telling me, they suggested I stay there for like 18 months. So I stayed there, and then I moved out after 18 months. After I felt like a solid foundation, I felt like I knew what to do. And as soon as I moved to the new neighborhood, I found a new home group, and I took a service position immediately. And I found like a new sponsor. I mean, I did everything. I pretty much went into the whole new atmosphere exactly like I did my first time getting sober. And I've maintained sobriety since. I did have some like struggles in my sobriety. I had like a really bad roommate situation for like living on my own. And I feel like having that foundation from the onset of like listening to people gave me like the strength to get through that bad roommate situation. This was before my current roommate. My current roommate's great. He's in recovery and like works a pretty good program. So it's not like a bad situation. But my previous roommate was terrible. I don't know. I think I could have done better as a person, but regardless, this whole situation, what I did is I would call my sponsor like every week or a couple of times a week. I would tell him like, oh, this bothering me. But I did my inventory. I tried helping people. And I did everything that was recommended to me in the big book. And despite all this difficulty, I mean, it was a difficult time. Like I hated being home because I didn't like my roommate. And, but despite all the difficulty, I did everything I was told to do. I did inventory. I prayed. I meditated every day, and I called my sponsor. And sure enough, like I was in the situation for like a year, and I got through it, and it was just fine. But that was the moment in my life where I wanted to be super outgoing because I would not like to be home. So I would wake up in the morning. I work from home, so I would just go to coffee shop, and I met a bunch of friends there. Like it just forced me to be super social. And this is like God doing for me. I look back on that and I see this as a moment of God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. Before this, it was like what Jill said. I was kind of quiet and reserved, but I was put in a situation of pain where I had to do something different to get myself out of it. So I forced myself to be super outgoing. I'd go to the coffee shop, work there all day. Then I wouldn't even go home. I'd go to like either a yoga class where I'd talk to more people and make more friends there, or I'd go to an AA meeting. And I just kept super busy. And I don't know, sure enough, I got through the whole situation, found a bunch of new hobbies. As Jill said, I started going to tons of music festivals, and I started meeting friends there. And I did this all in sobriety. Sobriety's like been kind of a gift. I've gotten back everything. I've gotten the peace of mind that I've wished that I've never had, like that ease and comfort that alcohol used to provide that I never got from that. And I guess what I'll talk about is spiritual growth. So some of the things that like I've kind of worked on, some of the gifts that have come to me recently is I got super comfortable with like living in Pittsburg. My life was easy. And I don't know, my life was easy. Like I did the same thing every day. I had a good job. Things were all right. But I took a trip to the West Coast to go visit a friend, and just like ended up being like this month-long like crazy adventure. But that whole experience kind of showed me that I was slacking in my life. That I needed to do some change. I needed like a career change. I needed like to like move forward in my life. So I made the decision to like start looking for jobs. And I ended up like landing a job in New York City. So like at some point I got to move to New York, but COVID is happening. So like now I'm just like traveling all across the world doing like fun stuff. Like I just got back from Aruba, and I'm in Mexico now. Like, and I'll be here for like, I don't know, like 6 weeks or something. So at some point I got to move, but all this stuff like was terrifying for me at the start. Like I like to be comfortable, but I don't know, something like I went on that trip and it just forced me to step outside my comfort zone and do something different. And ultimately I can say like ever since like getting a new job, like even coming to Mexico was a little bit scary. But I did whatever I was told to do. Like I came to Mexico. I went online, I looked for AA meetings, and I sure enough found that there's AA meetings here in English 6 days a week. So I went to one on Monday, and I did a Zoom meeting down here on Thursday or yesterday morning. So I'm involved here. Like anywhere I go, I seem to find the program, and I have the willingness to do what I'm told to do to get better. I don't know. I think that's it. I really don't have much more. I think it's been about 10 or 15 minutes. So with that, I'll pass.